Hey guys, Dee here, how are we all doing? I hope you're doing well. So today, let me just move my messy perlite out of the way. Today I am going to be repotting my Alocasia. And well, I am having struggles with this Alocasia, as you can see, and it's pretty much kind of in dormancy is what I'm going to assume that it is in. And I think now is probably the best time to start repotting this. Get it into a medium that is a lot more ideal in my, well, a lot more ideal in my opinion. It's currently potted in peat moss and I really dislike peat moss. It is just really hard to get wet again once it's dried out, and then it can hold a lot of moisture as well once. I've just noticed, yep, still got spider mites. And that is another thing, spider mites. So I know everyone says Alocasia are spider mite attractors, and I'm not even gonna lie, that is so very true. They are very, very much spider mite attractors, and I have been treating this guy, I don't even know for how long. They are still here. They're not actually on the plant that I can see. This is actually, I'll get into that afterwards, but they're not actually on the plant. They're just in the soil and around the rim of this pot. So what I am going to do before I actually put the cache back in this pot is take this pot, even the pot that's actually in the nursery pot, and I'm going to wash it out really well with hot water and soap and try and get rid of any of those mites that could still be on there. So yeah, the story of this plant actually is I bought it at a market. It was a very good price, but it was cold. It wasn't the most ideal day to be going out and buying plants, and I had no protection for it, and I was out for the whole day, and I thought it'd be okay. But obviously it got cold damage, and this is kind of what cold damage looks like, and I could tell it was cold damage because slowly, one by one, every single leaf turned yellow and died. And I pretty much expected it to happen anyway because, like I said, the weather wasn't the greatest. It wasn't very warm outside. I think it was about 7 degrees, and I had no protection for this plant except for like a plastic bag, and I did try and wrap it as much as possible, but I knew this was going to happen. So that is the story of this. So this is the last lagging leaf, and then obviously when I got it home that started to happen, and then I noticed the spider mites, and I'm gonna see if I can get like with my phone and show you like the really fine webbing. I'm not sure that I actually will be, I don't think you, oh, wrong one, and I need video. I don't know if you are gonna be able to see that. It doesn't want to focus for some reason. Focus. No, I don't know if you can see like that. Oh, where is it? Where's my finger in the camera? Here. Yeah, that really fine webbing there. Hopefully you can kind of semi-see that. And so that's what you want to look for when you know, like on your plants. If you suspect spider mites, that is kind of what you will be expecting to see. Oh, on your plant, sorry. Just need to get my monitor back up because I am blind. But yeah, that's kind of the sort of stuff that you will be expecting to see on your plants. Usually around, I've noticed they love like the ridge here and then the petiole, so right up in here is where the spider mites love to be. So I'm going to, like I said, repot this guy, and I'm going to be very careful because obviously I hope these mites don't like fly. So I'm going to repot it actually into some cocoa coir just because it's a medium that I know how to use. But what I thought I was going to do is kind of do like a half-half of cocoa coir and some potting soil, just so that it has some nutrients in there, because I know Alocasias, well, I don't actually know, but I just want to give it a bit of a medium where it is moist, but it has some nutrients in it, so I don't have to constantly fertilise, because obviously cocoa coir doesn't have a lot of nutrients in it, which is why you have to end up fertilising a lot more. So I am actually going to get a bowl so that I can mix it in. So I have actually repotted like my Alocasia black velvet into a bigger pot because the roots were starting to grow out at the bottom and they were starting to circle, so I thought it would be a good idea to up pot that into just one size up. It seems to be doing well, and it means I don't have to water it as much. My silver dragon, it's doing okay. It's not thriving and it's not dying, so it's kind of just as it is. And my Alocasia frydek, which is not a frydek, is it? It's a miss blah blah blah, the one that I can't pronounce. That is actually doing really well, but again, that's also potted in peat, but because it's growing new leaves, I'm really scared to repot it because I know they don't like root disturbance too much, and it's growing and I'm not sure, you know, I'm not sure that's the right time to repot now, but I don't know. If you guys have more experience, which you guys probably do have a lot more experience with alocasias than I do, let me know, like, is it okay to repot it? Do you have an alocasia deck? Do they freak out? Because, oh my god, the new leaves that are coming out, oh my god. Like, I was sitting on that plant. Like, how did I not realise its beauty before? I don't even understand. Because it is such a gorgeous plant, and I really just don't want it to have a fit and then, you know, drop all its leaves, because it's growing really nicely for me. So I just put some cocoa coral. I'm just going to add some houseplant soil as well. Kind of like a 50-50 ratio. And I'm just going to mix that together. That's definitely not going to be enough, I don't think. But let's just get a bit more. Handful of cocoa coral. And then a little bit more soil. And then if I have some extra, I can just keep it in a tub to use for next time. So I am just, not sponsored, but I am using Houseplant Focus. They do really good products and I really like them. And I can't be asked to go outside to get like the compost I usually use, so I'm using this one. Alright, so amendments. I'm going to add a heck ton of perlite. And I'm just going to, oh god, not try and inhale this. Okay, so that's a lot of perlite. I'm just going to try and not breathe until this dissipates. If you are working with perlite, try and do it outside and definitely like walk away from it. Like when you pour it in, have a mask on, have some kind of protection on, because yeah, the dust is not good for you. So I'm doing that, and then I'm going to get some bark. And I'm just going to add a crap ton of bark that has stones. Always find stones in this stuff. It's so random. It's like I wonder where they source their bark from, and they just have stones in it. It's really, really random. Oh, looking out. Yeah, and then just give that a nice, good mix. And then I'm going to move as much stuff away that can't get contaminated, I really hope, with spider mites. I mean, obviously they are mites, they can move, so if I don't see them and they're on this mat, then something else might probably get infected, but you know, we'll deal with that when it comes to it. So I think this is a good amount of aeration, I think. So this is kind of what the mix looks. There's a lot of perlite in there. I actually might add just a tad more bark. Just because I know they like moisture, but they do also like to be very free draining as well. Like they don't want to be sitting in like wet soil with no kind of like aeration. Gonna get the gloves on. Hopefully I'm in focus. Okay, my card just ran out of memory. So as I was saying, I'm going to take this really old damaged leaf off because it is growing a new leaf and this just looks horrible. So I am just going to cut that off and then seal the wound with some cinnamon. Whether it works or not, in my opinion, I feel like it does work because I've used it on a lot of different plants and it seems to do really well for me. Your choice whether you want to use it or not. You can just leave it open. It will callus over eventually. It's just this helps along the process. Okay, so now comes the time. I'm actually kind of, I'm not even gonna lie, I'm nervous, but we're just gonna do it. There are actual roots growing out of the bottom, which is a good sign. Whoa, okay, damn. So I'm not sure how much of this peat I'm gonna be able to take off. And can you see these gorgeous roots on this plant? Like, oh my lord. That is lovely. But again, I want to try and get as much of this and then all of this old crappy foliage just off. And then this cataphyll as well. And I'm just going to really gently squeeze so we can get some of that stuff, some of this stuff out of the middle. And just be very gentle with it. Very, very gentle. I don't even know where the bulb is. So I'm just going to try and very slowly get as much of this peat. This is literally like chunks of peat. And it's got one of those plastic netted things where the bulb clearly has grown into, which is just what we want. But clearly it's not affecting it that badly. It grew through the basket and has roots, but that's not the point. It's got a plastic plug in here and I really just dislike that very much. So I am trying to be as gentle as possible on these roots. Like I said, I just want to get as much of this kind of like peat stuff out. I mean, the soil looks pretty good, but there is no like amendments or anything in this to, you know, help with aeration. And I'm really paranoid about overwatering. So I have been trying to like underwater as much as possible so that I don't overwater and cause issues. Which is probably another reason why the leaves turned, you know, yellow, because I was trying to be a bit, you know, cautious with my watering. So with my other Alocasia, I water pretty much when I see half of the soil is dry, and that's been working really well for me. Like for my Frydek, I can't really ever tell if it's dry or not. I kind of stick my finger in the top, see if it's like moist or like semi-dry, and then that's when oh look, we've got some dead roots coming out of the middle. So that's clearly not good. And then that's when I water. Okay, so that should be, yeah, that's pretty much, this is just some old soil clinging to it. And then I've got the stuff at the top, which I don't think I'm going to be able to get out because this plastic plug is all the way around it. I'm trying to see in here. Yeah, so the basket is really in there. I don't know if I can, because there's roots in here as well. I really don't want to. Right, let's just see if there you go. Can you see that? You probably can't. Let me see if I can show you guys. That's like some plastic netting stuff. That's like, there's a plug in the middle, and that's what this is like wrapped in. Obviously not the most ideal. I'm sorry, roots, please don't get mad at me and die. Yeah, so the bulb must be in there somewhere, and I did just break a root accidentally, but what can I do? All right, so like I said, I'm gonna quickly go wash these pots just to make sure the pests and stuff are just not lingering in the pots to reinfect it, and then I will be back to repot it. Okay, so pots have been very thoroughly washed, and I used very hot water just in case. You never know. If I had like a disinfectant as well, like I'd probably use that, but I don't. So I'm just gonna hope that the hot water and soap was good enough. I hope this mixture is airy enough and water retentive enough for this guy. So I'm just gonna start going, just gonna start filling this guy up. So let's see, how is this gonna sit? Again, I'm going to be trying to be as gentle as I can with these roots. Oh, I have a feeling this is going to be so mad at me because I messed with the roots, isn't it? Probably. Well, what can I do? It needed to be done, not only because it has spider mites, but because it was peat and I'm just not comfortable using peat. So, or even like, yeah, I'm just not comfortable with peat. It's very easy to overwater with peat, so I really just don't want that to be the case. Alright, so I am just gonna jiggle this pot around to make sure that this soil's kind of going in all of those air pockets, because I did create a huge hole in the middle of this plant. So I want to make sure that that all gets filled while making sure that this stays in the middle of the pot. And then hoping that it doesn't freak out at me and get super mad I repotted it, which, you know, if it does, what can I do? Just gonna have to hope that it survives and I can still grow it. So yeah, I'm just gonna sticking my spoon down in here. Let me turn it the other way around actually, just to try and help this soil get into those spaces. And again, just shaking it, making sure that it does get into all those spots. I don't think it matters too much if you have a little bit of air pockets, because they will just grow, like the roots do like to grow into those air pockets, but I just want to make sure that there's not too many that, like, you know, it doesn't retain moisture and stuff like that. So just gently trying to like prod, get this into there. And yeah, so if you guys have any tips on alocasias, again, I will be very appreciative. I seem to watch a lot of videos, but they don't seem to give me like too much information, if that makes sense, about like repotting, when to repot, stuff like that. So obviously this one, like I said, it's kind of semi-dormant. It has only got one leaf. Hopefully that's not the only leaf it will come out with. I hope that it will grow another leaf. But I thought now would be the best time, like I said, because it is semi-dormant, but I do have some that aren't dormant. And, you know, like I said, my black velvet definitely isn't in dormancy, but it's also not growing. So I'm not sure that it enjoyed me messing with it too much. So I'm just going to wait and see, I guess, what happens. Again, I just want to maintain this in the middle of the pot because I really don't like when plants aren't in the middle of the pot. Alright, so yeah, the soil's kind of, it is going down, which means I've got air pockets, which is not ideal, but that's why you just gotta finagle. I actually should have put this in a clear pot so I could see. I still could do that. Nope, can't be bothered because I've already just spent all this time doing this. There's no point in going to put it, unpot it all, disturb it some more just so I can see what's happening, you know? Even though I should, because it's like, it'd be interesting to see, but next time. I'm just amazed that it had this many roots. I was not expecting that, and I was not expecting the roots also to be towards the bottom of the pot either, so that is a good sign. Alright, so again, just going to give it a nice shake, and that's it. That's that. My little itty bitty baby dragon scale repotted. So I'm just going to put that back in its pot. So I'm actually not going to water it now because the cocoa core is quite moist and I just kind of want to leave it a little bit. So I'll probably water it in about a day or two and then just maintain that moisture, hopefully. Hopefully I can keep it evenly moist, keep it happy. Hopefully it will start growing some more. We are going towards spring, so obviously that's when all of our houseplants are going to start waking up and hopefully growing loads and loads and loads. Again, hoping this one starts to grow loads and loads. And I will be also preventatively treating it for like spider mites. So I will be getting my insecticide stuff out and like treating that probably every couple of weeks just to make sure that they don't hopefully come back. Because oh my god, this year I've just had the time with pests. So I have mealybugs, which I have absolutely no idea where the hell they came from, but I have mealybugs now on like a majority of my cat, like not a lot. Thankfully there wasn't like a lot, but there are still some like lingering around. I catch them every now and again and I just kind of get a toothpick and squish them, like scrape them off and squish them. But my like Hoya retusa, out of nowhere, like literally out of nowhere, has mealybugs all over it. And I just don't know how or why. So I literally spent, oh my lord, I don't know why I did it either. I could have just like washed it down and treated it, you know, But I sat there and I looked through every single like nook and cranny and I was just picking off those mealybugs everywhere. And there was quite a lot as well. So I don't know where they're coming from because also my other Hoya, I found like an adult one, like an adult mealybug. So they're coming from somewhere. I just can't figure out like what plant they're coming from, but I have treated for them. But that's another thing. It's just something I never really dealt with until this year. So I've had like a mealybug here and there, but not like such an outbreak like I've had now. Then there was like a mini thrip outbreak. Hopefully, I think that's kind of contained. But the main thing I've been dealing with is spider mites, and they are literally on everything. It's it's a battle, and it's a battle I think I'm losing, but I'm trying my hardest. I'm trying to keep on top of it. It's just, again, it's one of those things, it literally came out of nowhere on like all of my plants, like just suddenly out of nowhere. I know one plant had spider mites, but it wasn't touching anything, and I've quarantined it and I've been treating it. But now suddenly it's just like that they travel. Obviously they're mites, isn't it? So they can travel, but they've travelled to like every single plant. Or, well, not every single plant, I'm being over dramatic here. But, you know, about 15 of my plants have spider mites at the moment. And it's like a battle. Like I win the battle and then I'm like, oh yeah, it's all good. And then suddenly, boom, again, out of nowhere. They come out of nowhere. So, oh, just gotta keep on it. And it's like, I don't even, like I said, I don't know where they're coming from. So it's just, if you guys know where they come from and how they come, like how do they get into your house? I would love to know that, because it's something I've never dealt with in the numerous years that I've been having houseplants, that I've never had spider mites. So this is a new fun experience. I mean, not one that I'm enjoying, but you know, it's an experience. But yeah, alocasia care and tips will be very welcome. Please, you know, send your good growing vibes for this little guy. I'm going to try and nurture him as much as possible so he grows nice and big again, because oh, those dragon scale leaves, oh my god, they're just amazing. Like, Alocasias, I just have a new appreciation for them now because they're just so gorgeous. Like I said, the Frydec's probably becoming like my favourite plant slowly. Slowly but surely it's kind of beating out the Dieffenbachia at the moment to become my favourite plant. But yeah, that's enough of me rambling. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you liked this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. If you would like to see more, you're definitely more than welcome to subscribe. And have a great day and night wherever you are, and I will catch you guys soon with another one.